Welcome to Arkaya Radio, talks on full-spectrum decolonized yoga and tantra, as well as the allied Indian arts and sciences, indigenous wisdom, healing, and the path of personal and spiritual evolution. Arkaya Foundation is a not-for-profit school founded and led by Yogacharini Maitreyi, who is a life guide on the path. Born and raised in the yogic culture of South India, she now resides in Vancouver, Canada, and leads programs online and in person for students worldwide. Join us for the online Community Satsangh every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, or learn more about Arkaya's on-demand courses and our online 500-hour embodied expansion certification, where you can become a holistic coach, healer, trainer, and leader. Learn more at arkaya.net.
India is such an oral tradition. It was such a lived tradition that it's not just one text. See, that's why people either in a Buddhist school or in a monotheistic school. So Buddha is like one Buddha, we follow. Or Jesus, one Jesus. Whereas if you see classical yogic wisdom or tantra schools, they say, oh, we have one teacher who we defer to and we can ask questions. But even that is not just one teacher. For example, I had Ammaji, and then Swamiji passed on, but I felt his spirit quite strongly in the ashram. So it's almost like I could defer to Ammaji in person. I could defer to Swamiji in spirit, for any question. So it's not like one person and the word is there. So through this oral tradition, there's almost an absorption that takes place. There's a refinement of your life that takes place. And when that refinement of your life happens, things become simplified. It doesn't become so complicated with all this philosophy. I know a group of people who love this philosophical discussion. I've been part of it in India, and I've been part of all these big conferences. And sometimes it's like after a point, you're like, oh my God, so they just talk these concepts to death, where they're all disembodied lecturers and PhDs and practitioners also sometimes, but they're not here. They're not in their hearts. They're not working through their trauma. They're not working with their body at all. So I see the value in having these discussions. I'm not saying no at all. So you could say, yeah, we have a big portion of it is the Yoga Sutras, but it's also embodied living as a householder and living our Dharma. So you can just say through Karuna Sakshi Bhava, we learn to live our Dharma. Is the simple teaching. There's nothing more complicated. And as we start living our Dharma, being a decent human being to ourselves and to others, then which means living and experiencing our material life in a good way, without excess. Again, it's the middle path, without dissipating our sexual energy, but also without repressing it, through really enjoying our sensory life. And part of your Dharma is also that. That's why you're born human in a human body, not to negate that. So when we live our Dharma well, then we magnetize this higher purpose, which is also moksha. Moksha is part of that bundle. And if you remember the teaching of the 4 arms of Mother Lakshmi, she tells us the first arm is Dharma, then Artha, then Kama, then Moksha. So Dharma is, again, living in harmony with all the roles we're playing, or creating harmony through all the roles we're playing. Then Artha is actually material wealth. So having some degree of it for comfort in our lives. We don't have to live in poverty. Kama is sensory pleasures. So even if we have sensory pleasures, we're doing it in alignment with Artha, in alignment with the Dharma. We're not creating, if you're married, then you're not going and cheating on your husband. I mean, it's basic things, when you say, I want sensory pleasure, but I also want it in line with Dharma, which means whatever contracts you have, either you get out of the contract and then you enjoy your sensory life if your partner is not a good fit. But you don't lie to your partner and you don't create the cycle of pain for 2 people. That's all we're looking at. And then moksha, the 4th arm of Lakshmi is moksha. So when we look at the teachings, it's simplified to basically Karuna Sakshi Bhava, creating self-awareness through self-observation and doing our Dharma and moving towards moksha. It's as simple as that, So, but it might seem too simplistic process of liberation, but not through negation, but through actual involvement in our lives. So, yeah, we're not dissociating, we're not escaping, we're actually savoring, we're actually being involved. But that can take lifetimes. As simply as it's put, just being present to ourselves, savoring and moving through can take lifetimes because there are layers and layers and layers where we haven't seen or we haven't observed the conditioning and we're not able to integrate.
Thanks for listening to Arkaya Radio with Yogacharini Maitreyi and friends. Don't forget to join us live online from anywhere in the world for the Arkaya Community Satsangh every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Connect with us and learn more about our on-demand courses and the live online Embodied Expansion certification. Visit arkaya.net or find Arkaya Foundation on Instagram and Facebook.